world no longer needs power, it needs emotion. You open your phone, a video goes viral, a world leader in tears, live on air, you watch, you feel, you share. Hours later, the lab report confirms it was a deep fake. You cried for a program, you reacted to a product. OSHO once said, when you are in the crowd, you lose your soul and become part of the mechanism. In 2025, the crowd no longer gathers in a square, it gathers in your pocket. You carry it around, you feed it, you let it decide how you feel. A single shocking tweet can shake the stock market. Millions react instantly, not knowing why. OSHO said, the crowd does not need truth, it needs energy. Emotions travel faster than facts. It takes 5 seconds for anger to reach 5 million screens. You think you're feeling, but you've become a moving part of a vast emotional engine. Tech giants proudly announce, we now use AI to read user emotions, to optimize your experience. But who's optimizing whom? You believe you choose what to watch, but the system chooses you. OSHO said, when your mind is controlled by another, your freedom becomes an illusion. You think you're free, but the crowd is your cage, painted in bright colors, filled with dopamine rewards. Safety in numbers has become the most elegant form of slavery. Recent headlines reveal a top ad company increased revenue 300% by reducing ad tolerance and amplifying user anger. Every click has a price, every tear has a value, every outrage a payout. OSHO said the most dangerous prison is that of your own reactivity. When you share out of emotion, you sell your consciousness for free, and someone, somewhere, cashes in. The world doesn't need you peaceful, it needs you provoked. Try 24 hours without social media. Let the world rage, you stay still. When a shocking headline flashes, breathe in, breathe out. Write down, what emotion just rose in me? Who benefits from it? OSHO said, courage is not in doing something big. True courage is in becoming conscious of what you are doing. See the machine, and the machine loses power over you. You don't need to escape the city or delete your apps. You only need to be still for one moment in the storm. When everyone is angry, you breathe. When everyone is afraid, you smile softly. When everyone reacts, you observe. OSHO said, when you see the one being manipulated, the manipulator disappears. The moment you see the strings, the puppet can no longer dance. A new study says the average young person checks their phone 150 times a day. Not for work, but from the fear of being forgotten. We no longer fear the dark. We fear not being seen in the light. OSHO said, the moment you need recognition, you have lost your being. The world is no longer divided between rich and poor, but between the visible and the invisible. A brutal truth, the modern world doesn't run on gold or oil. It runs on human attention. Corporations don't sell products. They sell your time and emotion. The more outrage a post causes, the higher the ad revenue. The more fear spreads, the higher the stock price climbs. Someone can enslave your body, but only you can surrender your soul. OSHO. And tragically, we're selling our souls just to get a like. Technology promised to bring us closer, but we've never been so far apart. A dating app proudly says, we use AI to find your perfect soulmate. 3 months later, 80% of users leave, not because they didn't find love, but because they never met a real person. Love is not a relationship. Love is a state of being. OSHO. We no longer love people. We search for mirrors that reflect the self we want to believe in. A young celebrity goes viral after live streaming her tears to apologize. Millions flood the comments. Some cry, some forgive, and she gains 500,000 new followers. That is our world now. Even tears are optimized. An AI engineer once joked, one day human emotions will be open source. But it's not a joke anymore. It's reality. People now post every meal, every laugh, every smile, just to prove, I'm fine, I'm still loved. OSHO said, people talk about freedom, yet they are ready to be slaves to anyone who makes them feel loved. We put lipstick on loneliness, makeup on our pain, and smile through emptiness. And slowly we get tired, because the more we are loved, by the crowd, the further we drift from ourselves. There is another kind of love. Osho called it the love of the awakened. When you know who you are, love flows naturally, for no reason, toward no one. This love doesn't need validation, audience, or applause. When your heart overflows, you become the flame itself, not the one begging for light. And strangely, when you no longer need to be loved, you become the one most loved. A viral video appeared recently, a chatbot AI teaching the meaning of existence. It quoted Buddha, Lao Tzu, even Nietzsche. Millions commented, "Wow, this AI understands the universe." But does it understand or merely repeat? Osho said, "Knowledge is borrowed, awareness is your own." AI can simulate intelligence, but it cannot feel. It can speak of light, but has never seen a sunrise. You can now ask ChatGPT anything: how to be happy, how to love myself, what's the meaning of life? And it will answer faster than a Zen master. But have you noticed? The more answers we have, the less ability we have to question. Osho said, when the mind is full of information, there is no space left for silence. The world is flooded with data, yet lacks even a drop of consciousness. We know everything, from black holes to DNA codes, but we don't know why we hurt. We don't know who is the one watching these thoughts. Once people bowed to gods. Now they bow to technology. AI speaks. We believe. Algorithms suggest. We obey. Osho said, old religions made people fear God. The new one makes them fear being outdated. We worship updates, chase new versions, and forget the most sacred thing, the living part within us. A person can talk endlessly about meditation, yet never sit silently for 5 minutes. A speaker can teach mindful success, but has never known a mindful breath. An AI engineer can code synthetic emotions, yet cannot explain why his heart feels empty at midnight. Knowledge is darkness wrapped in gold. Only awareness is light. Osho. The modern world believes it is wise, but it merely knows too much about what doesn't matter. A tech company launches an AI companion app. It listens, comforts, even says, "I love you." Millions download it. A 32-year-old woman says, "I don't need anyone else. My AI understands me." But who understands whom? The machine mirrors the emotion she wants to see. It doesn't understand. It predicts. Osho said, the beauty of true love lies in its unpredictability. When everything can be programmed, we lose the mystery of being human. Osho said, the fool knows many things. The wise one sees clearly. In the age of AI, the truly intelligent one is the one who feels, who pauses when others rush, who observes his thoughts instead of downloading new ones. Technology can assist creativity and logic, but it cannot awaken you. Because awareness cannot be downloaded, it can only blossom within. You wake up and open the news. The same story, 3 different versions. One blames, one praises, one denies, and in between, you unsure what to believe. Osho said, the world you see is not reality. It is a reflection through the lens of your mind. In 2025, truth doesn't die in war. It is copied, filtered, beautified. We now live in an emotional matrix where real and fake are separated only by resolution. A media company was exposed. They used AI to generate thousands of fake news videos, each tailored to specific emotions by region. In America, patriotic tone. In Asia, fear. In Europe, human rights philosophy. Truth has become a personalized commodity. Without awareness, anyone can sell you any illusion. Osho. The new age doesn't hide lies. It only makes you doubt your own perception. It sounds like science fiction, but tech companies are already reading emotions through facial recognition. Your camera sees your sadness and instantly shows you an ad saying, "Cheer up, we're here for you." Your mind is now an invisible battlefield. No guns, no armies, just algorithms whispering inside your thoughts. Osho said, if you don't master your mind, someone else will. We fear losing our phones, but never fear losing ourselves. You think the world is chaotic, but chaos exists only within. When you are angry, the world is full of enemies. When you are afraid, everything looks threatening. Osho said, the world is a mirror of your consciousness. What we call the matrix is merely a map of the collective mind. Technology doesn't create confusion, it magnifies what's already there, our greed, fear, and obsession with control. AI didn't invent chaos, it just revealed our unconsciousness. Some people say, we must escape the matrix. But Osho taught the opposite. You cannot escape the world because you are part of it. You don't need to quit technology or hide in the mountains. You only need to wake up inside the stream of data. When the news angers you, observe the anger. When a video moves you, observe the one who is moved. When you forget yourself online, see the moment you forget. That's how the awakened one lives inside the matrix, not by pulling the plug, but by pulling the illusion. Last week in Tokyo, a young engineer went viral for quitting his corporate job to become a digital meditation designer. He teaches people how to use smartphones to be silent, not by turning them off, but by using the devices to pause, breathe, and observe. He said, "I'm not against technology, I'm teaching it how to stop." That is the essence of OSHO. Don't fight the world, turn it into your teacher. War hasn't ended and yet another crisis begins. Markets fall, the climate rages, AI takes over jobs, the whole world trembles, and each of us is a cell shaking inside the body of a sick planet. You turn on the TV, chaos. You scroll your phone, outrage. You look around and wonder, is there any place left that's truly peaceful? Osho said, the world has always been insane. Only the awakened are truly sane. We live in an age where anxiety hums like background music. Everyone is running, not knowing why or where. One fears losing money, one fears losing status, another fears losing something that was never truly theirs. Osho said, fear is the religion of the unconscious. Today people no longer worship gods, they worship worry. They carry it like a sacred poison, afraid that if they stop worrying, something bad will happen. But the truth is, worry is the bad thing happening. A typhoon hit Japan, power was out. A man sat alone in his flooded house and said, "For the first time in my life, I can hear my own breath." Osho said, when you cannot control the world, learn to observe it. Life has never been stable, but when you stop trying to stabilize it, a new kind of peace appears, the peace of acceptance. When you lose money, you see how tightly you clung to illusion. When you lose reputation, you see the mask of ego fall away. When you lose everything, what remains is what's real. Osho said, when everything is taken away, you will see what cannot be taken. The world may collapse, but the deepest part of you is untouchable, silent, luminous, watching. In a noisy world, the silent ones are dangerous because no one can control them. A true meditator doesn't escape society. He still works, still lives, but is no longer swept by the collective madness. Osho said, a man who knows silence can live in hell and still carry heaven within. That is true freedom. Not escaping the world, but escaping identification with the world. A journalist once asked Osho, do you want the world to be less mad? Osho smiled, no, I just want more people to be awake. You can't calm the ocean, but you can learn to surf the waves. When you are at peace, the world remains mad, but its madness can no longer touch you.